Hey guys, what's up? It's 412 Sports Cards here today, back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 biggest overreactions in the NBA card market so far this season. Obviously, we're only a couple days into the season, but that doesn't mean there haven't been some massive overreactions in card prices. While some of these players might truly be great talents, the price moves on these cards are just so dramatic that they represent severe overreactions, and I'm just going to get into them. Top 5 that I've seen in the market thus far. We'll just rank them up here. Start at 5, go to the 1. So the least of the overreactions to the most. Number 5, we're going to give it to Morant. Morant obviously has had some huge price spikes. So his PSA 10 prisms were going for about $550 on December 22nd and are up to $760 as of December 26th. Obviously, this was fueled by that 44-point performance he had in the Grizzlies' opening night. He followed that up with 28 points against the Hawks on the 26th and cemented himself as one of the breakout stars of the early NBA season. Now, obviously, those are great numbers, but a $200 jump off of what was essentially 2 games is enormous. Now, the only reason I rank this as number 5 is just because there were so many overreactions as the season started, and the fact that you could argue Zion, with pricing relative to Zion, was underpriced to start the year, and I think that some of this was a correction for that, but there is definitely an element of overreaction going on here, and we're definitely seeing that with Morant and his card prices. This brings us to number 4, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has done pretty well to start the year. He's put up a 26 and 37 points in his first games, and the Nets got 2 wins, showing that they're a functional team, and I think the fact that the Nets were able to rattle off a couple wins almost did as much for the card prices as the points he put up. People have a lot of concerns, obviously, about Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, both big egos playing on that team, and the fact that they were able to do so well together even in 2 games, led the market to go bonkers. PSA 10 base prisms of Kyrie Irving from 2012 Prism went from $975 on December 21st to $1,360 on December 22nd, or 26th rather. Now those weren't huge price movements. I mean, that is like 30%, which is a lot. It's not as much as but also Kyrie's an established vet. And this type of movement on vet cards you don't often see, and the fact that it was on 2 games is just absurd. I think that the issues with the Nets are longer running issues. They're concerns of what will happen when they start to lose, how the locker room environment is going to be, and if Kyrie and Kevin Durant will be able to coexist. I think those issues still persist, and that's why this was a big overreaction in my eyes. I'm going to get to number 3. I think this really ratchets things up a little bit here once we get to number 3, Darius Garland. Darius Garland was a 2019 rookie. He didn't play at all last year, though, because of injury. So these first 2 games of the season for him were really his first 2 games of his NBA career. And he did well. He put up 22 points and 21 points in his first games. And there were very positive reports coming out of the Cavs training camp that he looked like an excellent player. And I think that after not playing for an entire season, that was enough to give his cards a massive jump start. He went from $84 for a base prism PSA 10 on the 22nd to $153 on December 26th. It was a steady climb over those days too, and not a massive spike, indicative that it might not be as much of an overreaction, but you can't overstate the fact that his cards literally doubled from 2 20-point games. We all knew, I don't think 20-point games are earth-shattering games, and we all knew that Darius Garland was a top 5 pick. I think this means probably that the market either was sleeping on him too much before, or this was a gross overreaction. I think it could be a little bit of both, but doubling from essentially stepping on the court for a player of a decently high profile is ridiculous, and this is an enormous overreaction. A card doubling in 2 days off 2 games. That's not nearly enough sample size to judge if Garland is a boom or a bust. But there still are 2 picks ahead of him, and that takes us to number 2 on our list, RJ Barrett. Now, RJ Barrett was a 2019 rookie, but he already finished a full year, so he's got a full year under his belt still. And we know what he looked like. He did not look that good with the Knicks last year. Very inefficient. But in his first game this season, he put up 26 points. And it blew the socks off the card market. The fact that he's in New York, a market teeming with longing for an NBA star, I think definitely played a role in it. But he put up 26 points, taking his base or his silver prism PSA 10 from $875 on the 23rd to $1,287 on the 26th, which is an exorbitant increase. Now, he only had 10 points on bad shooting on his game on the 26th, so we might see these prices cool a little bit as we realize that, that he's not necessarily an efficient shooter just because he had one good game, but it was a glimmer of what he could potentially do for the Knicks that I think sent the market into an absolute frenzy. I mean, especially with a guy we've had so much sample size on, I think this is an enormous overreaction. I don't know, we're talking about 1 and 2 games here. That's not enough to materially judge if he's a lot better than what he looked like for the entirety of a year last year. So I think this is a terrible overreaction. RJ Barrett very well might turn out to be a good player, but I think we need more sample size to justify his prices moving up that much. This takes us to the number 1 overreaction, and it's Sabonis. This is nuts. Sabonis' silver prism PSA 10s off of basically because of his first game went from $775 on the 23rd to $1,475 on the 26th. And it's not just the silver getting bid up because it was like you probably low pop because there probably weren't a ton of them graded, but there were similar gains on the base prism, the PSA 9 and the PSA 10. So he's 24, which is something that the hobby respects, and he did put up 32 points and 13 boards in his first game, but he was hobby irrelevant until this game. His huge game on the 23rd is what put him into the minds of sports card investors, but before that, he was completely unknown. And what that means is that he can just as easily be forgotten if he's not dropping 30 pieces each night. On a player of this caliber, his age is definitely encouraging, but the fact that he's not cardboard relevant, to steal a term from Luca's Tigers and Bronze, is what really makes it clear that he's an overreaction. This is the type of price jump that if you own it, you want to sell on, but it's not the type of thing that should be, if you don't own a card, should be convincing you, maybe this is the type of guy I want to get in on. He very well could be good, but I think you definitely want to see a larger sample size. You definitely want to see him starting to become more cardboard relevant before you're starting to put money into Sabonis. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you don't mind dropping a like or a sub if you're new to the channel, I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed this list of these 5 overreactions, and if you want me to keep doing them, let me know in the comments. Anyways, I'll catch you next time.